Hello and welcome back to Cities, Skylines, Better Cities and another episode of Top 10, and today we're going to be talking about skyscrapers and unique buildings. And we're going to talk about why would you want to have any of them later on, but for now let's just start straight away with the top 10. So at number 1 we have the 157, which is this beautiful building in frame. It's a skyscraper that's coming from a billionaire's row in New York City and has a fairly complicated shape, but it's a beautiful thing to have in your city, and it's a really good addition to your modern city center or central business district. Now let's take a look at number 2. We actually have a building that is coming from Malaysia and located all the way over here. This is a skyscraper currently under construction in Kuala Lumpur. And apart from its funky shape, it also has a story behind it. It's going to be built right next to the stadium where Malaysia gained independence. And this is kind of a really interesting symbol to have in your city, especially if you're going for some kind of Southeast Asia or Asian kind of city vibe. And now let's take a look at number 3. At number 3 we have a building that's coming to us from London, and it's called the LEADENHALL building, or as, well, some people call it a cheese grater, but that's okay. It's a really interesting looking building, and the reason for this shape is the laws that have air rights, and you have to make sure that you don't cover any important buildings from the past, and that is why we have this quite interesting looking building. Let's put it this way. It's definitely not ugly, but it definitely depends on your taste. I think it fits in my city, so I decided to have it. Now let's take a look at number 4. At number 4 we have one of the world's tallest buildings, and it's coming from China, the Shanghai Tower. As you can see, it has a really interesting twisted shape, and the reason for that is to reduce the wind load and make it more aerodynamic. And the building is actually very efficient thanks to its unique shape. It can actually go without air conditioning and keep the right temperature. And at the very bottom we have something that looks like a mall, which is also a nice addition to your modern city center. And now let's take a look at number 5. At number 5 we have a tower designed by Zaha Hadid Architects, and it's coming to us from city of Milan. A beautiful, elegant tower. It is not the tallest one, but it has a very distinct, unique shape, and it also has a twist to it, quite literally. A beautiful building that is going to fit in regardless whether you have a large megapolis or you have a smaller city and you don't really want to have something oversized. You want to have something for your city center. This is going to be a really good touch, a nice addition to that. And without further ado, let's move on to the next one. At number 6, we have another building coming from China and another building designed by Zaha Hadid Architects. It is a building that's coming to us from Beijing, and it's called LEEZA SOHO. And the reason why I recommend this for your city is not just its interesting looking shape, but also the quality of the model. You can see that there is an actual transparent glass you can see through the building. It's very detailed. We have a helicopter site on top of it. A beautiful looking building. The shape is just, it seems to be just right, and it has one of the tallest atriums in the world, so that is a really nice touch to your city center. And now let's move on to number 7. Number 7 is coming to us from Russia, and specifically Russian capital Moscow. And let's see what we are talking about. On the left down here we have a building called Evolution Tower, and you can see that actually conveys the message really well. The twisted, interesting looking shape, somewhat resembling a DNA, is something you definitely won't miss. And the quality of the model and the level of detail is just fantastic. This is one of the assets that you really wouldn't want to miss, and the Steam Workshop proves just that. There are so many people subscribed to this building. And now let's move on to number 8. At number 8 we have another interesting looking building that you might have seen in one of the previous episodes, specifically the pedestrian bicycle highway. does it look like corn? I don't know, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, it's a nice looking geometric building that is coming to us from the southern city of China called Shenzhen. It used to be a teeny tiny village, but now it's a world-known megapolis, and skyscrapers are here to prove that point. And this particular one has a very distinct shape, and the quality of the model is just incredible. That's why it's one of the buildings that is sitting in front of the CBD area. It's a really, really nice model to have. And now let's move on to number 9. And number 9 is coming to us from Azerbaijan. And in my city, I have this innovation eco-sustainable district. And the final touch to it was this beautiful building called the Baku Flame Towers. It's just a mind-blowing structure that actually does look like flames of the fire. And the quality of the model once again is also very high. Now let's take a look at number 10. And number 10 comes with a little bit of a surprise. It is not exactly one building, it's a collection of buildings coming from New York's newly redeveloped district, Hudson Yards. And well, in my city, it's not as accurate as you can see. Originally, all of these skyscrapers are built on top of the operating railway, so that is quite an interesting way to build and was quite a challenging process. If you want to learn more about this, you can check out the B1M video. And B1M, by the way, is a really nice channel if you're somewhat into architecture and construction. But anyway, let's not get carried away. We have plenty of beautiful looking skyscrapers. We have a shopping mall down here, which comes in 2 versions. In real life, it can move. You can check out the other videos. And these buildings are actually placed accurately the way they are placed in actual Hudson Yards, but the distance between them might be not so accurate. And another final touch to it, we have a boring looking mall, and right next to it we have a public art installation called Vessel. And it recently has been reopened. A really interesting thing to look at, a really interesting thing to experience in person, and the nice final touch to this skyscraper complex. There are plenty of reasons to have skyscrapers in your city. Cities put them up because they have high demands for office and residential. You can put it as a landmark. You can use it as a way to tell the world that your city is developing rapidly. In city skylines, I think less is actually more. If you have less skyscrapers and you just go for the most beautiful one, it's just going to be that nice final touch. But in this specific city, I didn't really want to go for 1 or 2. I want to have this crazy looking CBD district. That's why you can see all of these quirky looking skyscrapers from all over the... That's why you can see all of these complicated skyscrapers from all over the world. And if you move on to the older kind of district, there's going to be less and less of them, the old city center area. And I think Paris is actually doing the right thing with keeping all of the buildings away from the historic city center. All of these skyscrapers are put in a La Défense district. But anyway, that is pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you know of any other great looking skyscrapers that I forgot to mention, please let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.